Well, hello there and welcome back. We are almost done with this Chevelle doing the turbo. So I thought I'd take a second, walk you guys around and show you what's going on, what we've done, and talk about the test drive I just took. She is in her current state. We did do the eBay turbo log, which is under there. The VSR 7875 turbo. It's a Gen 2.5 billet wheel. Did a lot of things different than most folks on these. I just wanted to do something that was going to be a little bit more reliable, and I'll explain that in a second. Part of that is I wanted an intake tube. I didn't want to just have a filter right here and suck all this hot air in, so I've got coldish air coming in from a filter that's down there underneath the inner fender, which is going to get some ducting and things later, but that leads me into here, which the main reason I did that was to create some vacuum when, turbos are doing turbo things. I did that because I wanted that guy right there, which puts me some vacuum on this and will suck out my crankcase vapors. So normally that just goes into the little nipple thing that's over there under boost. That would, you can't do that. So a lot of guys are trying to get stuff out and running big lines just down or just putting a filter on it. I didn't want to do all that. I wanted to retain somewhat of a factory-ish system. So I have a regular, I don't know, this would be like the PCV side, comes out of the valve cover there in the back. I put the I don't know, it'd be the driver's side valve cover. Got one of those little oil fill adapters, and I ran a 10AN into there. Doesn't need that, but that's what I had. That goes into the oil catch can and goes back in the intake. So when you're normal boost, not in boost, when you're normal vacuuming, it'll suck in through there like normal. As soon as it gets boost on it, there's a check valve there. It's one of those evil energy check valves. It closes. That system is no longer being vacuumed. And then that's where it starts pulling from this side, which when it's sucking in real hard, I got vacuum on this side, goes through the catch can, so it'll pull those vapors out. My boost levels, 10AN, should be fine. I'm going to keep an eye on this catch can. If everyone says, oh, it's going to dump oil and then it's going to go into the turbo and then that's going to do things, and I'm going to keep an eye on this. It's been clean so far, and this has been working just great. So if that starts getting me crazy amounts of oil in there, then I'm going to have to redesign the system and do something else. But for now, this seems to be working great. We got our wastegate down here. I have whatever the springs were that Summit sent with it, the 12-pound springs. That's what's going in there. Dumps right back into the downpipe. So that downpipe is 4-inch. I got this trick little deal from Monkey Fab. The flange on it sticks it out, about 1.5 inches or so, and then your weld area is over here instead of right up next to it on the V-band. So I like that, dig it, stick. It's got an indexing ring. Check them out, Monkey Fab. And, downpipe goes down here. On the underside, I've got 4-inch that I guess you could say I ovaled. I squished it in the vise. I made this little contraption here. There's a 4-inch to 3.5 like reducer deal, and then I took 2 pieces of 3-inch and kind of wired them together and cleaned up and sanded on the inside so there's no restrictions. So it's very nice flow going from 3-inch on this side, 3-inch on that side. And then I got the not so happy with the housewife mufflers, the Angry Housewife Black Widow mufflers. Sound phenomenal, and 3-inch tailpipes out the back. So it should flow decent. Sounds great. What else did I do? If you guys have been watching, you saw, I got the stock driver's side manifold, cut a V-band on it, and you can kind of see my ratchet right there. We'll get to that in a second. Cut a V-band, cut it off, welded a V-band on, made a little crossover tube on that. Got the ICT billet pan. Had to do some things to my AC bracket to get this little fitting on here. Although, if you could look right well, you see right there, this belt, even though it's nowhere near being way up there, somehow jump rope it up and making contact there. So I'm gonna have to catch that before I spill oil everywhere. Maybe reclock that fitting just a little bit. That's your drain. Feed is on this side. One of those little plates in the, I don't know, 1/8 inch NPT 90 to AN4 line, a little generic AN4 line. That's leaking. I gotta tighten that up, obviously. So yeah. And then here, here's the crossover. This is whatever the S10 pipe was, 2 inch or whatever. Just wrapped that around. Gave me a little flexible job there. And then brought it up to the bottom of this eBay manifold. Make sure you have your orientation on those correct and don't get the ones that are like braided, because they don't work as well. And man, you can see this downpipe is getting hot. So go back up to the top. So I just took this thing for some spirited rips, and turbo's cooled down a little bit. It was at 300 when I parked it. I'm gonna have to make a heat shield on that. I've been told that the blankets are great, but they hold the heat in and don't allow the turbo to cool off. So it cooks the oil on the shaft, and then you have long-term problems with the turbo. I don't know if that's right or whatever, but I plan to utilize these little bolts here and make some sort of cover. I'm probably using this kind of material just over top of that, just to shield it from heat, because this is pretty warm. I mean, it's cooling down now, 120. Out here by the paint, it's getting kind of hot. So it's only 65 degrees outside today. But yeah, this stuff I got, I think it was on Amazon. I'll put a link to it. It's I don't know what that is, fiberglass mat, something or other, but it does a pretty damn good job. I'm sure I wouldn't be able to put my finger on the downpipe and still have skin, but I can touch that. It's hot, but it reflects some of that heat and allows it to go down and away and whatever. Probably need to get some wrap on this little guy. Obviously you can see that the coils would have been in the same area that all this crap is supposed to be at. So I just took some flat stock and kind of scooted them that way. One in the front, one in the back. And I made these kind of little cover things to hopefully protect the plug wires and the coils and keep them from getting too heat soaked. We'll have to keep an eye on that and see what they're at. I'm getting to be 120. It's 140 on the plate. I don't know, we'll see what happens. I did put some of that heat wrap stuff on the plug wires and kind of zip tied them out of the way there, so they should be fine. What else? We got 3-inch pipe. I used old exhaust that I had laying around because I can weld to that. Got the intercooler up there. You can see all these previous videos. Intercooler's pretty big, doing things. Got the boost pipe coming in. It's 3-inch also. IAT sensors here. Blow off valve is there. It's got whatever spring that Summit gave me in it. There's another one I can swap to, but I haven't got to that far yet. And oh yeah, the decapped flex fuel, I think they're 1406 injectors. I got those done by Precision Auto. They're great. They came all nicely packaged, and so not too complicated of a setup. I tried to keep it simple just because that's what I like to do, as I end up working on it and I don't like complicated crap. There is some stuff I probably would have changed how it's mounted or where it's mounted, and just so I can get my big meaty hands in and around it. I did not upgrade my fuel pump. Right now I'm at the 200 liter per hour pump. I've got 3/8 lines for the feed and a Corvette regulator. I don't think it's going to work very well. I've been told I just need to upgrade my pumps. I've heard everything from I need dual 450s, like 10 AN feed, and a boost pressure regulator, boost referenced regulator. I don't know. It would be nice to just lock my pressure in. My pump does push through the Corvette regulator. So I'm sitting at like 58 to 60 PSI, depending on what's going on. So I'd like to maybe dial that back a little bit, get the 43 PSI and get some more out of my injectors. But what I'm trying to say is I need a fuel pump. So I've got that on order. we're going to put a 450 in this and see where we go. I'm probably also going to upgrade the lines while I'm in there so that I can look at maybe going E85 in the future. But I'm trying to stay out of the gas pedal, and it's hard because this thing sounds like a jet engine. I took it for a rip around the block. When I say block, I mean there's highway. I went through town basically, and got on a couple times, and holy Tom Cruise Top Gun, this thing just wants to take off. It's nice, it's doing things. I did notice that sometimes when I let off the gas after a boost run, it just sits at 35 AFR for a second. I thought maybe I had Defco on. I don't. So that's interesting. Maybe the wastegate placement's blowing right at the wideband. I don't know. And I have a crazy exhaust leak, which I figured out what that is. Apparently on V-bands, if you don't get the two pieces, let me get this to focus. If you don't get the two flange pieces to actually line up and seat, then they don't seal. So somehow I boogered that together, and it's not really, you know, I'm dumping half this exhaust out. So that's interesting. Probably why it runs like doo-doo. But we're going to fix that. I'm going to fix this oil leak here, and we're going to see what else we see down the road. Wait, you're upside down. We're going to see what else we see, and hopefully clean some stuff up. Alright guys, well, back on the Fisher-Price turbo system. We're going to try to get some of these issues we discovered yesterday taken care of today. See if we can't get a test drive in and figure out what's going on with our issues. Hopefully, if everything's working great, which I doubt it, we can move forward to tackling the fuel system. That's supposed to be here when the mail gets here at 2. And today's Thursday. Saturday morning we got the cars and coffee, so no pressure. Yeah, a lot of pressure, so let's get going. First thing we're going to do is try to tackle this oil drain line. I've got the belts off already. The AC belt for some reason was doing either wobbly things, or maybe this was just leaning down some. So I'm going to make a bracket that will both shield it and keep it from leaning down anymore. So we're going to do that. You can see right here where it started to get through this nylon braiding part, didn't get through to the inside metal of the braiding line. So I'm probably going to capture this bolt and maybe a timing chain bolt. I'll get you down there to see it better. This is what we're working with. I'm probably going to go from that bolt here down to this bolt here and just make a little piece of sheet metal on there so that if the belt does... I dropped my phone. So if the belt does rub, it rubs on that little piece of sheet metal and doesn't damage my oil line. So you can see the little steel there poking out. Hey guy. Hey, how you doing? We'll get that done next. As I reference often here, I hit the scrap bin for a piece of this heat shield. I think that was from one of those eBay cold air intakes. Cut a scrap off, drilled a hole to capture that thermostat housing bolt, bent this around that piece of pipe there and hammered it over in the vise to give me this piece here. I'm going to hold that up and see where I need to put my other hole and mark it, and then we'll get it installed. So that's pretty simple. Captured these two bolts, folded it around. This oil drain line is not going to go anywhere, and I've got plenty of room back there. If it does, you know, jump over and hit that, it'll just say, oops, sorry, my bad, and kind of come back over that way. That's my hopes anyways. So let's get the other belt on and go on to the next issue. Got down here and tightened this fitting, the oil drain, or oil feed fitting. Tighten both the plate, that ain't focusing right. Tighten the plate and the hose itself. That drained a lot of oil out, so I had to redo the oil, refill the oil, which I haven't had to do that yet on this. The fill port that I have back here, well, that's not very easy to get to and not very fun, since I have to use a large wrench on that fitting to screw it out, you know, to get it to seal right. And then, you know, you can see where it's at, so that's fun when I need to fill oil. I'm gonna have to figure something else out, I think, in the long term, but I think we've got most of our issues done for now that I can look at. I'm gonna start the laptop up and take this for a drive and see if my wastegate does wastegate things. I did hook it up to shop air and it opens just fine. I am on one spring, so I should be at 6 psi for the wastegate to pop, and it's popping at like, well, it's getting to almost 20 pounds of boost. So significant issue there. First turbo build, I'm learning things. It may just be that I had an exhaust leak. It may be a couple other things with the tune, or it might just be that that wastegate's not in a priority position. As you can see, I kind of, for packaging reasons, just went right here, and you can see it on my other videos. There's, if I get this to focus, it's almost at a 90. It is a very thick casting, so I went inside the casting and kind of, you know, sanded it out so it would hopefully allow more gas to get out. The 44 millimeter wastegate, not in the best position, so I'm sure that's part of my boost creep issues. Some guys say just turn the boost up till it stops creeping. I don't think I'm gonna do that. Maybe not in this motor anyway. It's a stock bottom end. I didn't even put gaskets on it, so whatever was on there. Stuck a cam in it and took it to town. So anyway, we're gonna take it for a drive and see what happens. Well, we still have the issue with boost creep, so I'm gonna have to take that wastegate and put it in a different spot. I got some parts on order to do that, and we're gonna move it up more into the 90 where it comes up and give it a little more priority, and hope that the 44 millimeter wastegate will work. If not, we might have to do some different things. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions about what I did or how I did it or why I did it, let me know, and we'll see you on the next video where I tackle the rest of these issues.
Action. It's fire. I just wake up and piss excellence, and I want to go fast.
You're not first, you're last.
I was high when I said that. Did real good. Car ran real good.